Can we go back to the cinnamon challenge? Because we're just like regressing with
Or
the
like-
Tide Pods.
Right.
Or like can we go back to the ice challenge?
Right.
Oh
the
yeah,
ice
the
bucket
ALS
challenge.
ice bucket challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hello,
Welcome
or welcome back
to the Womanly Podcast.
where we embrace womanhood in its entirety. From the hard and awkward conversations
To the silly and embarrassing moments.
an effort to reclaim and redefine what it means to be womanly in this crazy, wacky world. I'm Delana, the neutral one.
I'm Katie, the morbid one.
And I'm Madeline, the other one. And we're so excited that you've joined us today because there's room for you at our table.
So, grab your favorite drink and let's have a conversation.
All right. What are we drinking tonight, ladies?
I got water.
I have bubbly, strawberry bubbly, and I have coffee that I didn't finish earlier, so I'm finishing it now.
Nice.
I have sweet almond green tea from HTO.
Yum.
That
Yeah.
sounds really good.
Taking a break from chai.
What are 3 words that would describe how you're doing right now?
3 words that describe how I'm doing right now. Well, I'd say tired.
Mm-hmm.
I've been kind of sick and just not really all that well the past couple of weeks for a lot of reasons. So I'm on the mend finally, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it's taking me a little bit of time to rehydrate myself, and I'm trying to eat a lot of good nutritious foods. And
She
Yeah.
came in with her smoothie bowl today.
I did.
Like,
yeah,
she
I
is
am.
on it.
I'm trying. So, yeah, so I tired for one. I think grateful would be another one for a lot of reasons, but, largely because I do have my health, you know,
Mhm.
I have struggles and stuff like that. And there are things that I'm worried about right now that I'm trying to get some answers on, but
Mhm.
overall I am a healthy individual.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the ability and the resources and everything to get those answers I need and work toward improving my health and all of that, which is something I'm grateful about. But I'm also grateful for my job and a handful of other, not just a handful, everything. I'm grateful for
Mhm.
everything. And then a third word, I don't know. 3 words, that's a lot. Can it have just been 2?
If 2 is true to you, then you got 2, girl.
Okay.
You don't need to force
Oh,
yourself
let me
to feel.
think of number 3. We should have round robined it. Katie, go ahead with give us what you got, or Delana, whoever,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back. It's like when you're sitting at a table
Yeah.
and you don't know exactly what you want to order yet.
Yeah.
Like, do me last.
I feel that.
I'll do my third one last.
That's what she said. Do me last.
That's inappropriate.
So
true. I love being done last.
Mm.
3 words how I'm feeling right now. Grateful's definitely one of them, for sure.
Plagiarism.
Yeah, well,
I'm kidding.
you can't
I'm kidding.
still. let me look up other words for grateful.
No, I'm kidding. Thankful of whatever. I'm kidding. You can be grateful too. You know what? I'm grateful you're grateful.
What
Good.
a supportive
Okay.
friend.
Yeah. That is supportive. And I'm feeling happy today. I'm in a good mood today.
Mhm.
So that's nice. I think my third one would be anxious, but not like in a super bad way. You know? It's like
expectant, or
it's like between excited and anxious.
Yeah.
I got you.
I'm somewhere in the middle, but it's
Yeah.
not like bad.
Yeah.
Something's happening tomorrow that I'm just like excited and anxious about. What about you?
I would say right now I feel very tired. I still am catching up on sleep because our cat just had her baby.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
She had it just yesterday.
Tiniest little nugget of a kitten.
So sweet, and it's extra sweet because we lost a cat in February. So we lost a very, very sweet and extra special kitty. Like Sam and I are cat people, but there was just something extra special about this cat that it hit really hard, and it hit everyone that had met her, you know, we had a lot of people messaging us and they were like, oh my gosh, like she was just something completely different. I can't believe it, you know, like that hit
special.
me, you know, that they would say that. And she was definitely like a little soul animal. And so we lost her and we took it really hard. And I was thinking in my mind, I was like, wouldn't it be so funny if we just saw the death of this cat and then I already thought it was cool that like we ended up adopting a cat that was pregnant, and that like right after experiencing death that we were going to be able to experience new life, you know. But then to put like a whole other layer that just like gives me chills, then she gave birth, even though she mated with a gray cat, and she is a gray cat, she gave birth to a black cat. And so it's just
I thought
like,
the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I was
actually.
like, it just feels like one of those little God things that you're just like, that was just like something for
yeah.
comfort, you know.
Yeah.
And just very, very a really, really cool thing that happened.
Yeah, for sure.
So I feel very tired because she had her baby and she would not let me leave her side. I was by her side for like 13 hours because she was so anxious. And I slept in the closet floor with her. And then because of that, I fell behind on urgent work that was due. And so then that next night after she had her baby, I was like stayed up almost all night last night trying to catch up on work and finish my client report, because I had that client call this morning to go over the report. And so I'm tired. I'm ready to catch up on sleep. And then I'm also feeling kind of just like weary, to put a different word to a different angle of that. I just feel weary, and like my diet has been extra hard recently, and because I can only eat a certain amount of fruit and a certain amount of carrots and like all the stuff to keep my body out of ketosis but not send my gut into hell. And like so I feel like just like mentally and emotionally exhausted by that aspect, where I'm just kind of like, I'm over it. It's like whenever you're figuring it out, your mind is very engaged in it, you know?
Yeah, you're like almost overstimulated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not overstimulated anymore. Well, maybe that is part of it, but I would say at this point I'm just like exhausted with everything to keep up with.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I feel like I'm over trying to do it, you know, but I have to keep doing it because I have to get better. And so, and then the other thing is I'm also really grateful.
Aww.
I'm really grateful for a happy and healthy baby and little mama that we have. And I'm really grateful that she felt so safe with me, that she wanted me by her side the entire time. And I feel really grateful for my job, because my boss knows like everything that is going on in my life health wise. And he told me recently, he was like, you've been like overworked, like you've had way too much on your plate for too long, and there's like, I'm going into a season where I'm not going to have as much on my plate. And he was like, you can take on more projects if you want, but also if you just want to take it easy, that's cool too.
That's so nice.
And
That's
that
very
like
nice.
I didn't even know how much I needed to hear that until he said it, and I was like, oh my god, I feel I was putting so much pressure on myself, you know.
Yeah.
As we do.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm really grateful for all those things as well.
Good. So
Grateful
glad.
for good doctors too, even though all this stuff is hard.
I think my last word is going to be kind of a silly one, sort of in that I'm excited because I have still half of a smoothie bowl to eat whenever we're done with this.
I'm excited
Yes.
because I'm working up an appetite,
Good. Yeah.
and so I'm gonna eat some fruit with you too.
Oh, nice. Look at us, fruit buddies.
Yeah,
Well, I will support you in your fruit eating,
I will support you as well.
and we'll support you in eating your leftovers.
Thanks. I'll support you all the way.
Perfect.
And you.
Sounds good. I love this episode. Today we're talking about our best supportive friend moments. We don't know
Mhm.
exactly what we're going to call the episode, but that's the topic.
That's the topic.
We talk about a lot of really heavy stuff here, but we also talk about a lot of really fun and playful stuff. And this one was just kind of like people talk about friend drama all the time. Let's do the opposite.
Yeah,
and
let's talk about wholesome things.
Let's talk about wholesome things, those really good moments that like make you really thankful for the people in your life or
Yeah.
past people in your life, you know?
Yeah, we'll fill our cup, and then hopefully it encourages you to get out and fill up your cup and fill up the cup of others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And to find good friends that you have these moments with as well.
I'll tell a story about Katie
Ooh.
to get us started.
Yes. So give a little background.
So Katie and I have been friends for, and this is stuff that to some extent we've already covered, but we've been friends for a very long time, since I was 14-ish. Katie's a little bit older than me, so, but we've been very, very close for a long time, all through high school. We were basically inseparable. We had kind of a trio there for a while. But so she's been my right hand gal, and she was very much around in the beginning of mine and Cord's relationship. And there was one birthday of his that I think it was like the second birthday of us being together. And he was out of town. His birthday falls around Thanksgiving, so he was out of town, and he needed me to go pick something up that was delivered to his apartment. So I had a key to get in. And I had this wild idea to go to Party City and just buy a bunch of crap and go and decorate his apartment for his birthday. So whenever he walks back in after having been out of town, his apartment is completely decorated. And I texted Katie and I was like, Katie, will you help me? Like, we're just going to completely cover it. She was like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. And so I went to Party City, bought like all these balloons and streamers and like door hangers and all kinds of stuff. And we went to his apartment, and for like, gosh, it was like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Yeah.
We decorated the heck out of all of it. And it was just so nice to have somebody that was supportive in that moment and being there, and like my crazy, spontaneous, wild idea, which really isn't all that crazy, but it's definitely spontaneous for me.
Yeah.
To have somebody there who is willing to give up a couple hours of their time decorating for, you know, just kind of a little bit more of a prank gag gift than anything. And he still
Yeah.
has a lot of those. That was, gosh, at least 6 years ago. He still has a lot of those decorations.
I can't believe he still has.
I know.
some.
So like
That's-
the sparkly red thing that we hung over his door, he has it over his closet door. He has some of the streamers. I know he still has like the 6-foot stormtrooper balloon we put
oh
in there
my gosh.
cute.
somewhere. So it was something that was obviously really, you know,
Meaningful.
appreciative to him. You know, he appreciated it, and it was something I was excited about, and Katie was gung-ho the whole time. So
Oh my god.
whenever I was thinking
amazing.
about this episode, that was like the first thing that came to mind.
Really?
Yeah, of course
cool.
there's a lot of other times that you've been really supportive in our friendship. That one for some reason was like the first thing that came to
Popped
mind.
out.
Yeah.
That's so
so
sweet.
I'll post the picture on Instagram of my trying to shove this, because we went to Party City, and so this 6.5 foot whatever stormtrooper balloon, they inflate it for you because it's the Mylar, and I had to shove it into the back seat of my sedan. I got a smaller car at that point, and I have a picture of it like shoved in, so I'll post that picture because that's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh
please
my
do.
gosh.
Yeah.
That'll be perfect. Basically, I feel comfortable sharing details, but
fine.
I had a situation with a friend recently in which she had done some stuff that was very hurtful and made me very uncomfortable in different ways. And I reached out to her to talk about it. You know, we met up and we talked about it. And it was a really, probably one of, if not the hardest conversation I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I, because it was one of those things where I just felt like, how do I even like navigate this? Like, because it wasn't a straightforward situation either.
Yeah.
There was a lot of context that was important and a lot of layers to it that I knew, at least I was pretty sure there wasn't malicious intent, but it was still hurtful regardless.
Yeah.
And so I met up with her, and told her everything, and she immediately was like, I totally understand, you know, why you feel the way that you do because of all of that. And she was like, and she was really hard on herself at the time.
Yeah.
Where she was like, if you never want to be friends with me ever again, I totally understand. And I was like, I don't feel like that's necessary. At least I was honest with her. I was like, I don't know. I was like, but I don't think that that's, you know, where this is going. I just want to take one step at a time, you know? And so she was like, I'm just going to, like, you know, sit with what I have done and, you know, let myself process it, and which I've never really done that before. She's like, so that's really big for me to just, like, you know, make myself sit with something that I did wrong. And she did that, and she gave me a lot of space because I told her, I was like, I think just from here on out, I was like, I don't know, you know, but I know for sure, like, we're just going to need time and space. And she gave me so much. She gave me as much time as I needed to just kind of, like, fully process. And so I messaged her recently to reconnect. Like, I feel ready. Like, I was able to fully forgive and stuff like that. And I've had friends in the past who I've had similar situations where they did something hurtful. I addressed them on it, but they, like, would not give me space, and they would, like, continue, and they would make excuses, and they would gaslight me and, like, all this stuff. And it was just, even though it's one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, all human beings should do that. You know what I'm saying? Not the gaslighting, obviously, but, like, the giving of the space and letting people process and stuff, like, that should be a standard. But unfortunately, it is one of those things where I'm like, I just feel incredibly grateful to have a friend that gave that to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I so did not want to lose that friend.
Right.
I've wanted to keep her. She's so important to me. And I didn't want something like this to just crumble all of that. And so I felt like if we could move forward in a good way, we would be able to move forward.
Yeah.
And I really feel like we are able to. So we're going to reconnect. And I just feel so thankful for the way that she handled it and all the space that she gave me. That felt like one of those ways that was like a super supportive friend moment in a really, really hard place to be supportive. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so grateful you told that story, because I think a lot of times when we talk about supportive friends and, like, being a good friend, we think of somebody who's there, like, who's there, who's, like,
who's not the
present, and you know, we don't think about somebody who's, like, willing to also give you space. And that's an important thing to be able to figure out. Like, sometimes it is best to just kind of give space, whether it's like, you know, the person's hurt from something you did, or they're going through something. That sometimes it's just best as a friend, the supportive thing to do is to figure out, do they need space? And you can even ask that question, do you need space, or do you need me to be there for you? And depending on what that is, just following through until they say, hey, this is what I need now. So
yeah, totally.
So I'm glad you told that story.
Whenever I think of supportive friend moments, I think of, like, oh, my boyfriend broke up with me and you were there for me. You know what I'm saying? And whereas the, I guess the person who caused the hurt also being the supportive person in the aftermath is really important to note. And that just is the biggest thing for me, honestly, right now, that was immediately at the forefront of my mind whenever we talked about doing this episode, because it literally is, like, so, like, I cannot explain the, like, gratefulness and the love that I feel because of the way that she had handled all of the aftermath.
Yeah.
A great example too.
Yeah.
And I feel like, to an extent, you could even say that, like, what you were doing and approaching her with the things that hurt you, or you found to be hurtful, I feel like that is, in a way, you supporting her and trying to help her come to terms with something or become aware of something.
And what is really cool about, since you point that out, she did tell me, she was like, ever since you brought all of this up, she's like, this opened a whole can of worms of, like, ways that I was behaving that I didn't even like realize
Mhm.
that were very unhealthy for me. And she's like, even though this has been incredibly hard, she's like, I'm really thankful that all of this, you know, kind of happened, even though she's not thankful for the hurt, obviously, that she caused. But I think that's true as well. That is, I think that's a huge part of being a supportive friend.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
Especially in adult friendships. Like
Yeah.
I think it's, some people might think it's better and more supportive to just kind of like,
Keep your mouth shut.
yeah,
Yeah.
forgive and forget kind of
Yeah.
thing. But some things you can't forgive and forget. And then some
Mm-mm.
things you shouldn't. Like if it's something that they're doing that's harming you or harming others, harming themselves, most likely,
Yeah.
then the best thing to do as a friend is to, you know, obviously it depends on how you approach the conversation. You don't want to be, you know, really mean and horrible about it. But
Totally.
if you're
it
doing
has
it,
to be tactful, and it has to come from a place of love,
Yeah,
not from a
exactly.
place of spite. And it's okay to be angry even while you're having the conversation, like to feel anger inside, but you shouldn't talk to them angrily. You
Right.
should talk to them in like a way in which, how do I move forward and towards them in this situation? How do we work towards repair? And if you can't work towards repair because the person like flips out and they can't take responsibility or whatever that situation may be, then that's a totally different story.
sure.
But yeah, you should. Something you said made me go down that
Yeah,
path.
no, what
but
you're saying was good. And even just talking about that kind of reminds me, and you know, hopefully where you're at is like you're emotionally intelligent enough and all of that to be able to navigate those waters, because every relationship is different. Whenever Katie and I were going through our things, I didn't even like ever necessarily decide to tackle it with her. I mean, we had conversations and stuff,
okay,
but we were
yeah.
having enough conversation surrounding other things and other issues and other hurts and stuff like that I could tell that my trying to attempt, and I didn't even fully understand why I felt the way I felt
Yeah.
in that situation. So trying to have that conversation may not have worked at that time. It may have put a rift in our relationship that we never could have gotten back.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
So for
That's
us,
where the tact comes in. Has
Yeah.
to be tactful.
so I think the best thing for us at that point, and I know she was confused by different things. Like, I don't know. You could speak to it if you want to, but I feel like I understood through like your now mother-in-law and just like your mom's conversations with my mom and stuff, as everybody's like, we don't really know what happened. And I know she's heartbroken. And I was like, I'm heartbroken too. I know we're both heartbroken, but the reputation of our relationship, people are just really stunned that we
Yeah.
weren't close anymore. And there was no real explanation of it, but
Yeah.
it wasn't, she came to terms with it on her own. And it wasn't something I had to tell her, because she came to terms with it on her own.
Mhm.
And we were able to obviously sit down and talk about it
Yeah.
many years later, after we both had healed from our own things that were causing us to behave certain ways, and
Mhm.
just kind of figuring out who we were as people and as adults and
As friends.
as friends. And it's been really great since. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think to really heal our relationship, I had to come to terms with what was wrong first, so that I could ask for forgiveness and really just like come to terms with that, and then just hope that you would forgive me, and then like go from there.
I already had at that point.
But like we just needed to
The closure.
we just like needed space, I think. And I don't know, I still feel like it was like God's hand was on it the whole time, even though it was like very painful to not have you in my life for that span of time. But I feel like God was doing things in both of our hearts that needed to be done, and maybe that had to be done separately. I don't know.
Yeah. And
But-
for full context, it was 5 years,
Yeah.
which is insane, because now I look back on it and it's like those 5 years didn't happen, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I
Obviously, we
know.
missed out on a lot of each other's life and everything, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it was quite the time span. So
Mhm.
Wow, I didn't know it was that long.
Mhm.
2016 to 2021.
Yep.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
But
I
yeah,
know. So I think there's been a little bit of healthy trying to figure out who we are as friends now as grown-ups, because we were children
yeah, we were. I
When-
mean, yep.
in the
Children.
height of our
I was
our
20,
very
I was
close friendship.
21, and when we had our split,
Yeah.
I look back on that and I was like, I knew nothing.
Yeah.
I was such a child.
Yeah,
at that
I was
point.
just
I
22.
know.
That is a good point that you said that about figuring out who we are now, because in our conversations, because we tried to sit down and see each other several times throughout, you went off to China and you came back and
Mhm.
it was like, let's go get coffee and stuff. And it just felt really awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And maybe I still had hurts that I wasn't really done figuring out yet or moving on from. And, but we had our sit down last year. I just like got to a point, I was like, I just really miss her. Like, I
Mhm.
just really miss her. And there
Mm.
was nothing else attached to that. And so I
Yeah.
reached out to you and we got together, and in our conversations, I think it was like, not the first time we sat down, but the second or third, I was like, we have lived a lot of life and we're different people, and let's maybe lay out our boundaries. Like, what are things that
Yeah.
you now recognize that you really need in a friendship, and
Mhm.
what are your boundaries, and just kind of lay
Yeah.
all of that out so that we were on the same page with those things. And I think it's been really helpful for us to be supportive of one another in those boundaries and those needs,
Mhm.
and then also to just make sure that we're being as intentional as possible in our relationship going forward, because we do have that history of
Yeah.
not having been
Yeah.
very supportive friends
Yeah.
for so long.
I
So,
know.
Yeah. Not, it's fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotional maturity, though, that you guys have gained since then. So
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Another supportive friend in a moment is Katie threw me. I'm just going to be gushing about you. No, I'm kidding. Katie threw me my 18th birthday party. It was a surprise party.
How fun!
It was really fun. I look back at this, so much fun. So much fun.
It was so much fun. My dad hung a huge chandelier in a tree in our backyard, and I think we watched an outside movie. We did the cinnamon challenge.
I definitely remember that.
We
Several-
have pictures.
Several of our guy friends. Did you do it too?
I think Sam did it.
I know Sam did it.
I
yeah.
think it was Sam,
Bryce, Levi,
yeah, Bryce, Levi, and then
Connor,
Garrett McCurra.
Garrett. Yeah, Garrett. Yeah.
What challenge was this?
The cinnamon challenge, where
Did
you
you
like
ever-
swallow a
God.
tablespoon or
No.
whatever. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
Sam did it.
I mean, 18. I was 18, so this was 2012 or something like that. So yeah,
Mhm.
like,
Jeez.
pre-Typods cinnamon
And
challenge.
Drake did
Drake
it as
def-
well.
oh,
we
of
go
course he
back
did.
to the cinnamon challenge because we're just like regressing with
Or
the
like-
Tide Pods.
Right.
Or like can we go back to the ice challenge?
Right.
Oh
the
yeah,
ice
the
bucket
ALS
challenge.
ice bucket challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, pre cinnamon challenge, it was the milk jug challenge, like where you try to drink a whole gallon of milk without throwing up.
Ew.
Yeah.
Gross.
Do not support your friends doing that.
No.
Any of these things. Stupid.
I will be a supportive friend by telling you not to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, the true friends are the ones saying, "Hey, I don't think it's a good idea."
Yeah.
Right?
We're also
Oh.
probably the anxious ones.
Oh yeah. They were doing it at my birthday party and I watched, but I was like,
I don't recall myself doing it. I may have, but
I think you instigated it.
I think I probably. Yeah, I
Sadie was
definitely
like,
instigated
I didn't do it, but I
Yeah.
was an important part of it.
I was the
Yes.
one that was giving them the cinnamon
Yeah.
from my mom's kitchen.
Yeah.
That's
And my mom
Yeah.
was like, "What
It
are
was-
y'all doing?"
It was so funny because like they were coughing it up. Obviously, there was just like big brown clouds of cinnamon.
We
like,
have
in the cl-
pictures.
yeah, in
That's
the-
so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
horrible. No, that was a really fun. It was a fun party. The only surprise party I've ever had, and I'm not a big birthday party birthday person, so yeah, it's a sweet
I
memory.
love throwing parties.
I know you do.
And
I
I
know you do.
loved throwing that party for you.
Yeah,
That was a
great.
blast.
It was so much fun.
I have / also had, because like technically she's still in my life, but our relationship is not near as close as it used to be. But we used to live.
Totally normal.
Yeah, we used to live together. Actually, she was the person, my one and only roommate before I got married, and I actually became close with her because she was dating my brother, and their relationship was really toxic, and so she would talk to me about that all the time, and so then we became really close.
Yeah, because
I was supporting
bitch
her
about your brother with somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would also get defensive sometimes.
Oh yeah,
where I'd be
I
like,
get it.
Okay, you pushing the limits. He's still my brother. Okay.
Yeah.
You
Girl,
know?
watch it.
Yeah. But anyway, so we became really close through that, and we ended up living together, and she was just a friend that was kind of just one of those friends where they're just like generally they're always there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And not just because we lived together, but it was like she was just always there for me for the fun things and the really, really hard things. When my boyfriend broke up with me while we were there, like she was there for me.
Yeah.
But I remember this one moment in particular that always sticks out in my mind where I was in the car and I was like telling her I was in the depth of a lot of my social anxiety and just general anxiety, where I just felt so freaking confused. And I hadn't fully realized, the depth of the trauma from my childhood and all this stuff. And I mean, confused is the perfect word to put it on. Like I felt so heavy, but I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And I remember telling her, like, I just feel this way and I don't know if I should feel this way about this and that and blah, 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 blah. And she was just like, dude, she was like, feelings are feelings. They're not right or wrong. They're just what they are. She's like, your emotions aren't right or wrong, and stop trying to tell them that they're right or wrong. Just let yourself feel them. And that was like such an eye-opening moment for me, because that was like a concept that I didn't know,
Yeah, you knew control.
I knew control, and I knew that, like, why do you feel that way? Explain to me why you feel that way. Okay, well, what's your logic? Like my dad would like freaking drill us, and he would be like, if we couldn't explain our thought process, then it wasn't valid. And so whenever she said that to me, it was like literally life altering.
Yeah.
That I was like, wait, emotions can just be emotions and they don't have to be correct.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as correct whenever it comes to emotions. It's just like letting yourself feel it and trying to understand why it's there and why it's operating the way that it is. And now I know that back then it was like revolutionary, and that was one of those moments where I was like, I'm really thankful for that friend.
Yeah.
That she was bold enough to speak something like that into my life and like check me on it too.
Yeah.
Where she's just like, dude, you're running yourself into the ground for no reason, So
That's
really cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just don't have like a specific like moment of like supportive friend moment, but Madeline has always answered the phone whenever I call. Like, I don't know,
That's a cool thing.
Like, I can always depend. From like what I can remember,
Yeah.
I can always depend on her being there and just answering the phone, and like if it's just listening or whatever it is. Like you were there when I had my first breakup, even though we were in a hard spot. Like, you were still there for me. You listened to me, you helped me through it. I remember just like being so like brokenhearted, and even though you were really good friends with that person and me, like, I don't know, I feel like being in the middle of that would have been like kind of hard. I've never been in the middle of something, really. I feel like
Yeah.
your house was always open. Your mom was so kind.
There were a lot of times you came and stayed like 5, 6, 7 days.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it
Oh
was
my
a lot of
gosh.
fun.
Yeah.
I think that's important, and you've always been there for me too. Like that's
Yeah.
something that we've made a very important thing in a relationship, and obviously as adults, one of the things that we've talked about, and this is something that's like really important to me now, is just like recognizing that not everybody has the capacity for like supporting you the way that you feel like you need to be supported. And so being able to say like, hey, I've really got some stuff going on. What's your capacity for this right now? I think that is something that's changed a little bit in our
Mhm.
relationship, that we've been like, hey, can I talk? You even did
Yeah.
it the other day, saying that you were feeling really conflicted over things. Can I call you? I was like, I'm very sick, but yes. So
I know,
I
and
can't talk a whole lot.
yeah,
but
and you let me call you, and you just listened.
I was
and-
making mac and cheese. So. It made the time go by for my mac and cheese to be ready.
Yeah. I've had like maybe one other friend like around that time
Mm-hmm.
that I knew I could always call. And like you're totally that friend who I know that I could call you in the middle of the night, and if you heard your phone you would answer. Like I know, and I hope you know that I would too.
No, I do.
But yeah, I don't know.
My anxiety just won't let me call somebody at 2 a.m. I'm like,
Mine
she's gonna
will.
hate me if I wake her up.
Yes, same.
I'll wait until tomorrow, and then
Yeah.
it's tomorrow, and doesn't even feel that bad.
I
anymore.
know.
Yeah.
I know. That's why you
Oh yeah, that
gotta
was my anxiety.
do it in the
right?
moment. That's why you gotta do it in the moment.
No, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I like, it's important to me to be there for people because I appreciate it when people are there for me. So
That reminds me, speaking of 2 a.m. phone calls, whenever Sam and I were just friends, we had both friend zoned each other.
mutual friend zoning.
Yes, mutual friend zoning.
Adorable.
I remember Sam had said to me, like, every time I would tell him that about a bad dream that I had, he would say like, hey, if you ever like wake up and it's the middle of the night and your dream's really that bad, he was like, feel free to call me like whenever, just if you need like comfort or whatever. And so one night I did. It's the only time I've ever done something like that, because at that time I remembered him saying that. And I was like really shaken up by some creepy dream I had. And so I call him, and he'll tell this story all the time, but I call him and he answers, and I'm like, hey, and he's like, hey, Elena. And I was like, what you doing? He was like,
You up?
he's like, this is sleeping. Like, what do you think I'm doing at 3:00 in the morning on a
Right.
Wednesday night, you know? And he didn't say that, but it was like one of those things.
The attitude, yeah,
Yes.
with which it was said. Yeah.
Right. And I was like, well, I just had a really bad dream. And he was like, oh. He was like, oh, okay. Well, tell me about it. You know? And I think it was just like the way that I started the
He was
conversation,
like,
where I was
what
kind
is
of like,
this, a booty call?
yeah, right. It was like,
From somebody I very clearly have put in the friend zone.
right.
Oh
It's
my
like
god.
so funny because I started it off with, what are you doing? Like, sleeping. But that was a very good friend moment.
Yeah.
Where we
Well-
stayed up and we talked for a little while until I was like able to calm down.
Yeah.
I went back to
That's
sleep.
so sweet. I love
Uh,
No,
I guess if we're like gonna talk about good friend moments about like our past friendships with our husbands,
that. Yeah, go
yeah,
for it.
totally.
then I'll say one of the biggest supportive friend moments from Bryce was actually the night that my ex-boyfriend started dating someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been at Bryce's house, and on the way home I like found out about it. And I just immediately turned my car back around and like headed straight back to Bryce's house because I was like, you know, like I don't even think I can go home.
Yeah.
And I was like closer to Bryce's house than I was to my house. And I got back there and I think he had like gotten in the shower. And so I had to like wait for him to get out of the shower, for him to like come down and let me in. And he was like, "What's wrong? Like, why are you back here?" And I was like, told him what happened. And he was like, "You can stay the night here." He was like, "Come on." He was like, "We can go, like, you can sleep in the guest room." And he like stayed with me till I fell asleep. As I like cried myself to sleep,
Yeah.
he was like, he like scratched my back and was like, "It's gonna be okay." Like, he was so sweet about it.
Oh my gosh.
That is very sweet.
I know. So that's definitely one of the top supportive moments
Yeah.
that I think about, was just like the comfort too, was just like be able to like go back to his house and know that like that would be okay. And he totally like talked me through it, and like it was just so sweet.
I'm so glad that you can look back on that night now and that it's
Yeah.
like a special sweet memory, and it's not like,
Yeah.
you know, because he was there for you, and
Yeah.
look at where y'all are at now. That's such
Yeah.
a cool thing.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
Yeah. Go Bryce.
I'm gonna give a shout out because I don't know if she listens consistently, but I know that she knows about our podcast. But my friend Hillary is one of my BFFs. She is my ride or die, and we went through a situation together where whenever I was doing my YouTube channel, she is a photographer, and so she would come and she would help a lot with a lot of my like extensive like Halloween videos and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because I would do like crazy Halloween makeup and we would make it into like this cinematic experience.
That was
And
really incredible. I looked forward to that all the time.
oh, thank
Yeah.
you. And so she would come and she would help me with those, and we had so much fun doing it. It was me, her, and another now ex-friend of ours, which is where we're going. That now ex-friend is she did something that was very, very hurtful to Hillary, and in which I told that friend, I was like, "Not cool, dude," you know, and in which that affected our relationship. But during that time, we still had a lot of videos that we had all planned to do together. We had like 2 or 3 videos that we had all planned to do together. And after this very hurtful event happened to Hillary, I told Hillary, I was like, "If you don't want to be part of these projects because you don't want to be in the same room as her, totally get it. Like, please don't feel any pressure to, you know, continue to participate in all of this, you know." And she was like, no, I don't want to leave you hanging or leave you struggling or anything like that. And she continued to show up to the video projects, even though she had to work with this person on a creative project,
Yeah.
you know, that was just for fun, really. I mean, it was something that I was super serious about, but it was, you know, for them, it was mostly just for fun. And she continued to show up and support this dream of mine at the time. And that's just one of those moments that I was like, I can't believe that she did that, because
Yeah.
I totally felt like, please don't feel like you have to do this, you know, that this is all really confusing and uncomfortable, and I don't want you to feel, or if you want me to ask her to just not be a part of it, like whatever, you know, whatever. And
Right.
so, but she was not any of that. She just, you know, showed up, and eventually that person sifted themselves out pretty quickly after that situation. And Hillary and I continued to do projects for a little bit, but then I also started changing the direction of my channel.
Yeah.
What I was doing and what I was doing in general. Now I don't even do the YouTube videos except for these ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really cool moment where it was like, wow, she just wanted to show up for me for a
Yeah,
simple...
despite the fact it was a really uncomfortable situation.
Yeah,
That's
despite
awesome.
the fact that it was uncomfortable, despite the fact that I told her, hey, no obligation, absolutely understand if you don't want to do this. And the fact that she knew that it was important to me, and that's
Mhm.
why she wanted to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to
That's
shout out some
great.
people, specifically regarding this podcast, because I've had so many friends reach out just saying how, they listen to an episode or two or all of them, and they reach out and talk about how much they love it. And
Aww.
I've gotten so many nice messages. So, yes, I'm talking about you, Stevie, Jamie, Alex, Sophie, like all of you guys.
Aw.
Just reaching out and sending nice messages saying, even if you listen to one or something like that, part of
Yeah.
one, just saying, hey, just listen to it. It feels like I'm sitting in the room with a friend and talking. I had one of my friends gave me a recommendation for an idea for a podcast. We've had friends come and sit in and record podcasts with us and just be really
And they're
excited.
so excited.
They're so excited about
so excited.
being
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
and being a part of it. And I just think that's so beautiful. And even if it's just as little as like going and following our social media or something like that, that's just even then, if you're not somebody who listens to podcasts or something, we don't really know where this is going. Like we have
Mhm.
ideas and we have plans and dreams, but
Yeah.
just having people be supportive. And I know all of our partners and spouses are supportive as well. So that's just such a huge encouraging thing to know that we've put time and money and energy into this, and it's something that we're really enjoying and passionate
Mhm.
about. And to have other people basically speak that back to you, talking about how much they appreciate it and enjoy
Mhm.
it, that's just, you can't put a value on
Amazing.
that.
No,
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
And then also alongside all of that with you guys, I feel like throughout the midst of recording this, and we were sitting at brunch, and then after brunch we were hugging and saying bye, and I said, do you want to start a podcast?
Yeah.
Out of
Like as
nowhere.
we were walking out.
Yeah, I was like, hey, let's do this. Just a parting thought,
Yeah.
not a big deal. And then like within a week, we were set up to go ahead and record our first episode. So
cool.
just very
Yeah.
gung-ho about it. And then
Yeah.
all the times that any of us have had something going on, my being sick or,
Mhm.
other hurts and losses and misery and things like that. I mean, there's just been so much, and we've each been very true to staying supportive. Like we're friends first, right?
Yeah.
And I just appreciate y'all so much for being, transparent, but also being graceful and supportive in those moments as well. Like that's developing that in our friendships with one another has been the
So
most
cool.
special part of this whole project to me.
Absolutely.
So
Totally agree.
yeah, y'all are awesome.
Yeah. I agree too.
On that note, I have another thing I wanted to say was I had this moment while Katie was telling her story about Bryce where I was like, oh, I just sent that long ass Marco Polo to you guys.
I was wondering if you're going to talk about that.
Yeah, because I basically told them, I was like, we've taken on this project and it's a lot of editing primarily.
Yeah.
And I have, by choice, not by their unwillingness, that's for sure, taken on a lot of editing. Katie has taken on a lot of editing as well. And
I've begged.
and Madeline has begged. Like I
She
said in
has.
the Marco Polo, I'm like, Madeline, I know you ask like every
Every
other
day.
every other day how you can help and how you can take some of the stuff. Well, now I am gonna stop trying to be the do-it-all person
Mhm.
and ask for help because
Yeah.
I can't with all my health stuff. I just cannot keep up with the amount that I was being too optimistic,
Yeah.
because I was excited
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I wanted to be able to do it as well. And so I got overly optimistic and then I got really overwhelmed really quickly. And so I sent them this Marco Polo and I was basically like, guys, I need help.
Yeah.
And they were like, Delana, that makes total sense. We absolutely understand. And we want to, we're actually going to meet right after this and talk about
Yeah.
Mhm.
how we can kind of rearrange and readjust so that none of us feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
you guys are amazing.
You're amazing.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
You're amazing.
So what are y'all looking forward to this week?
I am looking forward to sleeping this weekend.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm just looking forward to seeing this little kitten grow.
Oh,
So much fun.
Hopefully we can I don't know when we're supposed to take it to its first appointment. Because we're supposed
newborn
to take,
appointment.
yeah, we're supposed to take
Oh.
mom and baby in together. So I need to call the vet and see, but I'm excited to take them to their first appointment.
This is so
Oh
bizarre
my
to me because
gosh.
I grew up in the country and I don't think we ever took kittens and cats to the vet after they like had
Yeah.
theirs.
It was, yeah.
I love it. I
was,
love it.
Every man for himself.
Oh,
out
yeah,
there.
it's like, yep.
for sure.
Mhm.
That is so cute. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I know, and Sam kept telling me that like the whole time. Every time I would worry or get anxious about something or not know what to do, he'd be
Yeah.
like, Delana, they have babies all the time on their own.
Mhm.
And of course, my little anxious self, I was like, yeah, and babies die all the time whenever they
Oh.
have them on their own.
Yeah.
That's exactly what was going through my head, but I wasn't going to say it out loud.
And so I was like, how do I control this? There's only one. I only got one chance.
Oh.
It's going to go
No.
great. It's gonna go
No,
great.
yeah, I have had a lot of peace about the situation, and I have not been really that anxious. I've just been like, okay, I feel like this is where she needs to handle everything, and you know,
Definitely
I'll try
helps
to, I'll try to read
whenever-
the room.
Yeah, whenever you are able to see their like motherly instincts take
Yes.
over. Because prior to that, they're just the cat that they've
Mhm.
been. But once they have their first baby, it's like
Yeah.
that whole total 180.
Yeah,
It's kind of amazing.
it is
so.
amazing. It's
Sweet.
been fascinating to see her being a first time mom and me knowing her before she was a mom, and then all of a sudden, and I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
creation is so cool.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
So cool.
I am looking forward to continuing to feel better.
Mhm.
I haven't been this sick in a very, very long time. I think probably I don't know. I had the flu in 2019, so that's probably close, but so I am looking forward to continuing to get well and then finally do the projects this weekend that I had planned on. I took a 4-day weekend. Well, I planned to take a 4-day weekend for for this past holiday weekend, but ended up being a 6-day weekend. It's just that I slept the whole time.
Aw.
So I was sick the whole time. So I didn't get to do all the things I'd planned to do for those 4 days. And even though I only have 2 days this weekend, I'm going to try to get caught up on some of those plans. So I'm looking forward to that and having the energy, hopefully, to get it done.
I'm looking forward to. So Bryce and I went on a golf cart ride last night, but it was like sunset, and there was like no one on the trail, and we know why now, and it's because the whole trail was underwater because of all the rain we've had.
Oh no.
So we were like trucking it in the little golf cart through the water.
Oh, no.
But this is the coolest thing. This is where I'm getting at. The fireflies, y'all.
Oh,
There
yeah.
were thousands. And I think it's largely because there was no people on the trail.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just like reflecting off the water.
Oh.
And it was like getting dark. So Bryce and I tomorrow night are going to go on a late night golf cart adventure and go try to see them like when it's pitch dark.
Oh, so
That'll
fun.
be so pretty.
So I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
We're starting to get fireflies in our yard now. Like you sit out there and it's just kind of like the most special moment whenever you see the first
I
one,
know.
you see the next one, and then
I know.
Yeah. Texas
So
fireflies in the
pretty.
beginning of the summer. It's unmatched. It's
It
so
really
magical.
is. And then like you hear the cicadas at night and that just
For me, I hear the frogs,
and the
frogs,
frogs.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
crickets,
Yeah.
the best.
All of that combined is it just reminds me of summer.
Yeah,
Like it's the picture of summer.
yeah. Well, until we remember what our sign off is, drink your water, wear your sunscreen, and be nice to yourselves.
Yep.
If it changes, forgive us.
yeah,
We're trying to
give
remember.
us a little grace. Okay?
Yeah,
We're
be
only
supportive.
human.
Okay?
Yeah.
And there's papers all over the floor because we were trying to remember. Okay.
Yep. So just be nice to yourself and others and us, and drink your water and wear your sunscreen. And bye.
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 Thanks so much for hanging out with us again for this week's episode of the Womanly Podcast. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media to hang out with us in between episodes and see pieces of our conversations that we don't get to include in these episodes, plus all of our bloopery humanness. We're on Instagram at Womanly Pod and TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter at Womanly Podcast. We hope to hang out with you more there. Have a super womanly week.